Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. See ebaymotors.com.
Hey, it's Michelle Beadle. That's right, the Michelle Beadle. You're welcome. You love talking about sports. I love talking about sports. You know the only thing cooler than talking about sports? Sports! And right now, all your favorite sports are on Sirius XM. I'm talking every NFL game, every game from the NBA, NHL, MLB, every NASCAR race, golf major conference college sports, and all the top games in the WNBA. If it gets your heart pumping, it's on Sirius XM. To start your free trial of Sirius XM today, visit SiriusXM.com/believe.
All right, guys, we just shot a great episode with Ramona Shelburne. Thank you so much for coming on. Before we get into today's episode, I want to give a quick shout out to TickPick, the only place you got to go to get tickets to sporting events. Use code LADE, L-A-D-E, for $15 off your first order, $99 or more. And the thing that's the best thing about TickPick is there are no service fees, and they have the best prices for the same seats you will find on other sites. So TickPick, use code LADE, and enjoy the episode. Welcome back to the Late Show. Today,
The Late Show.
Today, who do we have?
Ramona, ESPN Shelburne.
Ooh! We got Ramona Shelburne. Been with ESPN since 2009.
2009.
Covered a ton of Lakers stories. I want to start it off with your favorite Lamar story. Let's start it off with that.
Okay,
Wow.
favorite Lamar story. Okay, so Lamar was always the guy in the locker room who, like, a lot of people know how to duck us. Right, like you hide in the training room. You're like, oh, I gotta get some treatment. You stay in the shower longer. Lamar was always there. Like he didn't hide from us, and I always appreciated that, you know, because we all had jobs. So back then, I was with the newspaper, so we had like 3 stories a day. You know, pregame story, notebook, postgame story, yeah. And I remember one time, Lamar, I think you were probably not having a good game or something. Like I think probably Phil poked you or something. He used to poke you a lot, right? Yeah. Because Phil would always poke the guys that it would hurt. Like if he poked,
he knew how to kind of like stir you up.
Yeah, he would stir you up. Because then he would say something to us in the coaches press conference, and then we'd all come to you and be like, "Hey, did you hear what Phil said?" Right? So I think I came to you one time. It was probably pregame before a playoff game or something, and Phil had said something, and I was like, kind of beating around the bush. Like, I didn't want to come straight out and be like, hey, Lamar, Phil said you sucked. You know, like, I didn't say it like that. But you already knew what was coming because you heard what he said, or you knew what was coming. And I was probably like 30 seconds into my, like, dancing around it. And you were like, Ramona, just come straight with it. Like, the truth is, I already know what you're going to ask me. Just come straight with it. Just ask me what you're going to ask me. You know how many interviews he probably did?
A lot.
But to me, it was really important because, like, it kind of made me, he's like, whatever you're going to ask me.
Just do it, yeah.
Just come straight out and do it. Because I always, like, kind of feel like, oh, I want to be nice. You don't want to come straight out and say something, like, feels rude or whatever it is. But, like, he's a grown man. Right. He knows what the question is.
It's crazy just thinking about it. I was just thinking about how much time, like, you spend with the reporters that are assigned to your team.
Yeah.
You're around each other.
They travel with you, like.
Yeah.
We were there all the time. And, like, it's weird because when you cover players, especially on a team like that, where you guys were like championship contenders every year. So you're there on the road, you're there before pregame, postgame, every single game. And like, I don't even know if you know all of our names. Like, I always made a point of trying to introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
Because it's like very impersonal. Like it's very like
Some
we're
of
just
some of you guys I didn't know some of their names.
yeah, you know what they look like.
Yeah.
Or you might know if they wrote something or that you didn't like or that stirred the pot a little bit. Yeah. But
Well,
I
you
was
just know their last names.
yeah. But it's a weird thing. Like it's very impersonal, and yet we're asking you very personal, direct questions.
Right. Would players, would you say, favor certain reporters who came from certain companies? Like if you were from ESPN, like, yo, we're gonna give you a better answer.
Yeah. I mean, the truth is, whatever you say to anyone is going to get out there now.
Right.
But back when you played, I don't think that was the case. I think if you said something to like, a newspaper, it would only be in that newspaper, and it was probably only
Well,
going
I
to
think
get.
it depends on your relationship that you had with
Yeah.
the reporter.
Yeah.
Like you see big guys like LeBron has a great relationship with Chris Haynes. Like you'll see Chris Haynes will come up with bigger scoops than other reporters. Like do you think
But does that make sense? Because we're people talking to people. So like you want to talk to somebody you trust or somebody
Right.
you've done stories with before, somebody you know is going to like. I mean, I definitely know that more people would talk to me when I was at ESPN than when I was at the Daily News.
Right.
Because when you talk to me, like I'm going to go on TV and talk about it, or I'm going to
Right.
write about it. It's going to have a big platform. It's going to go a lot of places. But also, like I've been around a minute, so like people know kind of how I treat people or how I am. They have a
Right.
sense of what I do. But I would say, yeah, like certain reporters, like there were times like Kobe had special reporters that he had. Like there was a time he was like Jim Gray was his reporter that he would go to. Then there was like Rick Bucher.
Yep.
Rick Bucher was his name.
Yeah, for a minute. And you could tell they had a good relationship for a while. And then I don't know, Kobe and I were really close for a while. But there was also like sometimes Kobe was so smart. He knew who everybody was in the room, where they worked, what kind of stuff they did.
Right.
Like if they wrote good stuff, if they were.
Is LeBron like that? Would you say, like very aware?
LeBron likes his beat writers,
Okay.
and I respect that. Like he likes the guys who are there every single day.
Right.
It's almost like a baseball player. Like baseball guys, they like the guys who show up. They play 162 games.
Right.
They know who's there 162 games.
Yep.
They like the guys who go to spring training. Like LeBron likes his beat writers because he respects that they're there every day. He doesn't like the national. It's not that he doesn't like them. It's just more
They
like
come for the big moments. Like
he
they're just-
yeah, we come for the big moments. Like I'm
Right.
not there every game.
Right.
I'm there a lot of games, but not like I have to cover the whole league, so I
Right.
can't be.
You
in,
can't. I mean, you
yeah.
can't be. So I actually have a question because I feel like it's changed once you came in the game, like in 2009 at ESPN.
Yeah.
How has it changed with the relationship between players and reporters? I feel like, I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like nowadays it's like they're not as good of, they don't have as good of a relationship between the players and media. I could be wrong, but is that the
No, I
way?
think you're right. I mean, it's different. It kind of depends on who you are. Like, I tend to have pretty good relationships with people. What do you think? Like,
Yeah, you were pretty stand up.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I was around a little bit more when Lamar was there. Like we were there every game, every practice, every whatever. And you develop, but it was different back then. Like we would go to a Laker practice back then, and like everyone would talk. Yeah. Like John Black would bring every main star you want to talk to. Yeah. We do a big group interview every time. Yeah. Like you didn't have to pick between Kobe or Shaq or Lamar or Powell. Like you would get anybody you wanted, and even if it was a big star. Yeah. And you guys would stand there for like 5-10 minutes now, and like John would stand back and he would let you guys say whatever you wanted to say. He didn't jump in to like break it up.
Right.
Even if things got tense
Yeah.
or controversial. And there were definitely times things were controversial. But
I'm just thinking, I'm pretty sure, like, what about if you're reporting on a team and your team is like sucks?
yeah, that's hard. That's the challenge as a reporter. I've done that.
For who?
I started I was with the Clippers.
Yeah.
Oh, right. And
Back
like,
then.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they were not good.
Yeah.
Poor Baron Davis, he like came here thinking he was gonna play with Elton Brand. Remember that
Right.
year?
Yeah.
And then Elton they kind of lowballed Elton, and he ended up going to Philly instead. And Baron was like, "Ooh, hello, I'm stuck here by myself, okay." And he tried his best, but they were terrible that year.
Yeah.
And like, so you're covering this like bad team, and they're not really playing for anything. So it's like hard to like find some drama.
Yeah, how you even talk to them? They don't even want to probably even talk to you.
Not really,
You're talking about the game, and they
Right.
haven't been playing well.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it makes your job hard.
Makes it hard, but also that's my job to make it interesting. So like I remember I would always talk to like Tim Thomas was on those teams. You remember him, right? Steve Novak. You know, we'd have Katino Mobley was on those teams.
him, yeah.
So like you get to know guys individually. You just kind of you treat them like people. Yeah. And so like they have to play hard. Just because you're on a bad team doesn't mean you don't play hard. Yeah. You're still trying to build your career. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you just talk to them like a person, and you don't write about, oh, they're gonna make the playoffs or not. You write about that game or like what that player's going through in that game or what they're trying to do for the future or whatever it is. Who we have? Al Thornton was the rookie on that team. Remember Al Thornton? I think he's from Georgia, maybe. Thornton. He was a lottery. Eric Gordon was on those teams.
Oh yeah. Eric Gordon.
Eric Gordon, EG.
He's
actually
back.
EJ.
He's on the Clippers now, right?
Yeah.
He's back.
He's back.
Yeah.
He was part of that. He was part of that Chris Paul trade. Everybody was part of that Chris Paul trade.
Was he?
Well, there was like the trade that didn't happen, and then there was the trade that did happen.
Hope you're enjoying the interview with Ramona Shelburne. Want to give a quick shout out to Prize Picks. That is the best way to play daily fantasy, and it is legal in California, Texas, and Florida, and many other U.S. states. If you use code LADE, you'll get a 100% deposit match up to $100. So let's say you deposit $100, Prize Picks will instantly match that, and you will have $200 to make picks with. Easiest way to make picks, over or under. It's not on the game line, it's on the player projections. So use code LADE. And let's get back into the episode. All right, let's talk about that because I know you were part of that. Like you were involved with that.
Yeah.
And obviously, you were in the trade that didn't go down. So like,
and then you were not in the trade.
So your point of view, because I've spoken to Lamar about it. I want to know what like on a reporter side, what it was like because you were in there. Like the Chris Paul trade.
Or
the one before.
Oh.
Where you were supposed to go to New Orleans.
Right.
Yeah, that would have been life changing for me.
In what way?
New Orleans, that'd have been culture shock.
I mean, you went to Dallas, so like, they're both not L.A.
No, they're not L.A. They're not L.A.
I gotta be honest.
I wasn't prepared to leave L.A. at that point.
I mean, you weren't expecting your name to be in trades, is that right?
I think you were. How do I put this? I don't think you ever were the same after that.
No.
As a person or a player.
Definitely not.
You know what I mean? Like I think you were personally very hurt.
100%. Shell-shocked.
And you tried to make a go of it in Dallas, but it's not the same. It wasn't the same. Like I felt like you had you were like part of the family with the Lakers, and like when they put you in that first trade, it was like
a death.
Cause you just won six-man, right?
Yeah.
2 years earlier than that. He won six-man in 2008.
No, it was.
Wasn't it 2000?
It was the first year you went to the finals, right?
No, it was 11. I won six-man. We didn't make it to the finals when I won a six-man.
You guys were going for a three-peat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when you were in six-man?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Kobe won an MVP.
In 08, yeah.
Yeah.
2009, you went to the finals again.
Yeah, we beat.
2010, you went to the finals, and that's the one you beat Boston.
We got swept by
2011, you were the six-man?
Yep.
So that was the last thing you were expecting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was your point of view with that whole thing?
First of all, it came out of absolutely nowhere because we were all covering the lockout.
Right.
And I don't even think we knew Chris Paul asked for a trade. Like, it was still the lockout. So he had asked for a trade, and like behind the scenes, it was a different media environment. Like maybe somebody had that somewhere, but it didn't get around. Like that wasn't something that everybody knew. And I think it was a quiet ask. It wasn't like a, demand like Anthony Davis when he asked for a trade or anything, right? And so they were still finishing the lockout. And it was like, they didn't even sign the CBA yet. They hadn't even signed it. So it just was like, boom, like the Lakers got Chris Paul. What? Like we didn't even know he was being traded. Like he was up for a trade, right? And then it was like, oh shit, they put Pau Gasol and Lamar in? Like,
that's crazy.
God, like that was.
They traded Pau?
In that one.
He was in that.
He was in the trade. He was supposed to go to Houston. You were supposed to go to New Orleans. And
Were any picks involved?
Huh?
Were any picks involved?
No.
So it was just Chris Paul to the Lakers.
Chris Paul to the Lakers. Kevin Martin was going to go to New Orleans. No, Kevin Martin was going to be in Houston. He was still there.
I didn't know they put Pau in a trade as well.
Yeah. That was part of how that got undone. Okay. But Pau was supposed to go to Houston. You were supposed to go to New Orleans. And in a way, you can make an argument that New Orleans team was that was a better trade than what New Orleans ended up getting.
Who did they end up getting?
They did the trade with the Clippers, I think it was 10 days later. And they got Eric Gordon, Chris Kaman, a future first, which that belonged to Minnesota, and everybody thought that was gonna be a bad pick.
Okay.
And Eric Bledsoe.
So it's much worse than what they would have got from the Lakers.
I mean, those were all three good.
Yeah,
Were three good players
but
and a
no
first
Lamar
round
Odom
pick.
Powell.
Right. Well, Powell was supposed to go to Houston.
Oh, right, yeah, Houston.
Houston was sending somebody Houston was sending someone in New Orleans too. I'm trying to remember who it was. But when that happened, like it was the day before training camp. So the lockout
insane,
happened.
really.
It ends. The trade goes through like that night. And then David Stern later on announces we are not accepting the trade.
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys had training camp in the morning. You don't remember this?
I can't remember.
So you don't
It's
remember
amazing. Like training camp was in the morning. So like we're like, holy shit. I remember parking out in my car in the parking lot there at the old facility and just waiting in the parking lot to see if you were going to show up.
Did you show up?
Late.
Yeah, it was late.
It must have been awkward.
Because it was like you were
awkward.
traded and then not traded.
Yeah,
It's
I had
like,
a
what do you- it's
conversation
like-
with Mitch. It was
You asked to be
awkward.
traded, right?
No,
You didn't?
I can't even remember how the conversation went, honestly. And I don't want to make myself a liar. Because
No,
if
no.
I give you an answer,
No,
then
I remember
that
you
means
came
I'm
in
lying
late.
'cause I don't really
And we were
remember.
like, is Powell going to show up? Is Lamar going to show up? I mean, they just got traded
It's
and
crazy how
untraded.
it
Like,
happened.
how do you ask a guy to play for you? And by the way, Mike Brown was the new coach.
Brand new coach.
It wasn't Phil Jackson anymore.
Yep.
So it
much
was
shit
like
happened.
everything was different. Like you got to show up to this new team. The coach that you played for is gone. You and Powell were like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And Mike has 10 days to get you ready for training camp.
Crazy.
10-day training, like it was a real short training camp because it was like November maybe. And he had to get it done so fast. Like he put everything in. And Mike, you know how he showed up, like binders full of offense and defense to learn, right? Like, and it was like, I remember a training camp, usually like, you ease your way into it a little bit. No, it was like hit the ground running.
You had no time, really.
And like, LO was like, I think you got there late. Like, we weren't sure if you were going to show up. I know Powell showed up, but he was like sleepwalking. I remember talking to Luke Walton afterwards, like, how was it? This has got to be weird. And Luke was like, I got to be honest, we're so tired, I can't even feel anything. Because Mike put them through like some crazy 2-a-days and was like trying to put all his offense in, all his defense in. And it was just like too much change all at once.
Did Kobe speak that day?
Yeah.
What, did he say anything notable?
I mean, he's Kobe. He's like Kobe just like, keeps it rolling, you know? I think Kobe was like, I think he was excited about the idea of playing with Chris Paul.
Right.
And there was still a chance that he could play with Chris Paul. And then I think you did ask for a trade, but I think you did it through your agent.
I think I did too.
I think it was through Jeff
I
Schwartz.
might have been butthurt.
You were hurt.
Well, yeah.
You were hurt about it.
I was
Like,
I was
yeah.
surprised you showed up. I remember seeing you show up, and they had already started, and you had a meeting with Mitch that day.
Yeah.
But I saw you roll up, and it was like you looked like your dog died. Like it was like you were really not a happy guy.
Crushed.
Yeah, now I remember because I didn't have a practice uniform on.
Yeah.
Was that to like stick it to them or like what were you doing?
I don't know. Being stupid.
Well, yeah, but you had no time to digest this.
Right, literally no time.
It was literally the night before. And also, there was a sense that maybe you would still be traded. Like, he just said, we can't accept this trade. David Stern just said, we can't accept this trade as it is. But then there was like, but then it was, then Mitch Kupchak kept calling him back and be like, okay, well, what do you need? Yeah. And he would keep reoffering the same thing.
Wow.
And then
So
eventually,
it's like, enough.
I think Lamar asked for a trade. I think it was through your agent.
It had to be.
And they traded you to Dallas. Yeah. So then Mitch couldn't offer the same package to New Orleans anymore. So then the Lakers were really out.
Yeah. Then you guys didn't.
Stupid idiot.
It is what it is, but like we always say, you still got those 2 rings on your fingers.
I did.
But it was weird because, like, I don't think you were ever the same. I don't think Powell was ever the same for the Lakers. He stayed. Mm-hmm. Powell was there for another 2 years. Yeah. But he left as a free agent. And they kept trying to trade him, too. Like, it's not like he ever felt safe here. It was like his name was always out there, too.
Right. And trade rumors.
And it was just like, it was so abrupt. Like, you got swept by the Mavs in that 2011 year.
Spanked.
And that was sad because, like, Phil was retiring, and that was a weird way for him to go out. And
You
Yeah,
said
we
you were
just got
burnt out.
tired.
You
I
said
think we just got tired.
when Matt Barnes
I
came
think-
on. Yeah, he said the same thing. You just
Really?
burnt out.
Yeah, I think Kobe and Powell got tired. We got tired. We've been 3 years going to the finals.
Yeah, it was the 4th year.
Yeah, so I remember Matt was just like, "Yo, you're burnt out." But I want to talk about the current Lakers
Yeah.
because it's
Current Lakers.
really exciting. There's 5 games left.
Top 5 in
we're-
defense since the trade.
She said number 1, right?
Number 1
Since the
It kind of goes back and forth, but yeah, the last couple months they're like,
We're up there.
You can say top 5 is good because it goes back and forth. You know,
I
We're up
like
there.
that. Why do I like that? Because I told you they were going to be good when Darvin Ham's personality and the way he plays
Yeah.
Right.
basketball reflects on his basketball team.
you played against Darvin, right?
I did for a short period of time. How long when he did retire?
Oh, I don't know that one off the top of my
Darvin Ham?
head, but Darvin was like
Go check for us.
he was a dunker from Texas Tech.
Yeah, dirty,
Broke
scrappy.
a back. I saw you broke a backboard.
All
Yeah.
rebounds was his. Defender.
So he was like undersized power forward,
Mm-hmm.
like undersized, like
Right? Yeah, I get it.
like Barkley but in shape.
And AD is playing like a dog right now.
He is back to back 38. So what do you think about Coach Ham? I know Lamar's a fan of him.
I've always thought Darvin was gonna be a great coach because he, by the way, circling back to 2011, he was on that staff with Mike Brown.
That's right. That's right.
He was the assistant coach.
Yep.
That was a hell of a staff, by the way.
Really?
That's a staff. Mike Brown, Quinn Snyder, Darvin Ham, Steve Clifford.
Look at all those guys right now.
They're
Like,
all
it's-
head coaches.
Like
that
Brown
was
is killing it with the
a hell of a
Kings.
staff.
Like
But there was another guy, John Kuster. Remember John Kuster from Detroit? Ah. Look at that. That's like still in there. But Darvin to me is the kind of guy who becomes a great head coach because he played the game, so you respect him, right? And you know how he played because people know what kind of player he was. But he didn't get it right away. Like he had a grind. He had to work for it. He had to like climb the ladder. He had to learn from Mike Budenholzer. He had to learn from Mike Brown. He had to learn from all these other, from Coach Popovich. He had like a lot of influences. And I always think the people who are successful, not just in life, but like in basketball or anything like that, are the people who grind, who have to like stick with it when it doesn't come easily, when it's not handed to them.
Right.
When something's handed to you, you don't know how to. It's not so much that you don't value it, but you don't know how hard you work to get there. And to me, Darvin, like he worked hard to get where he is and to become as good as he is. And like I think players respect the grind, right? You know, he was. He's also
respect somebody that's on the same ground as you are.
yeah. I mean, you could tell, right?
She seems like to me as he's a listener.
Yeah.
So someone that's a good listener is always learning.
seems like the Lakers have all bought into Darvin Ham.
If they're playing defense, they
Even
have.
Westbrook was bought in.
Yeah.
Bought into him.
I mean, the thing with Russ and Darvin, like they spent a lot of time together in the offseason trying to just build trust because I think trust was everything for Russ.
Yeah.
You know, he came here and he was like the villain immediately. Like he's going to be the scapegoat and all
After
that.
the first game, yeah.
Yeah, the first game even. Training camp. His
Yeah.
first year. And some of that's on him too, okay?
Yeah,
But
justified.
I don't think he ever had a chance here. Like I don't think that was ever going to work. First of all, him and LeBron, they both need the ball. There's a world in which they could have staggered their minutes or something, but
Right.
like, you know, Russ was always going to have to take a back seat. And that was not going to work because it's not the way he plays. And then when he took a back seat, I thought that hurt the trust because he immediately got criticized. Immediately. Once you start criticizing him, I don't think he's ever been in a situation where he took that much,
Definitely not.
you know, I would even say friendly fire. Like not just fire, but friendly fire, right?
Totally.
That hurts.
No, we
that
know
hurts
about
even
it.
more.
Yeah, I mean, Lamar, you saw the interview with LeBron where LeBron was like, I want Kyrie. And that means Russ got to go. And like he was still on the team. So, I mean, I get what you're saying.
But it's like Darvin built that trust with Russ, and he got Russ to play defense. Like people forget, Russ was all defense at UCLA. He was an all defensive player. He can play defense. Now, team defense is a different concept, you know, different story. Like, but he can be a good defensive player if he buys in, if he thinks that's important. And Darvin got to play more defense than I've seen any other
He's
coach
a
get
favorite
him to
win
play.
Sixth man of the year.
Yeah.
Off the bench. So like,
He got him to come off the bench. That was a big thing for you too, I remember. Oh, I got another Lamar story.
tell us.
I got another Lamar story.
Tell us.
You were kind of hurt when Phil had you come off the bench, remember?
At first, I was.
Yeah. And do you remember when Jeannie and you know how she sits in the second row? So Jeannie was there with her
With Linda and everything.
Linda and Stacey Kennedy and all her her girlfriends that sit in that row with her. Do you remember when you would come in, you would get to the scores table? Do you remember what they would say?
Take your pants off. Yeah, that's crazy.
It was so funny. Like I was like, you would hear them yell it.
Yeah,
Like
every game.
like Lamar would go to the scores table.
Every game.
But it kind of got you to like embrace the role. Or I don't know, maybe that. What got you to embrace that role?
Winning.
Okay.
What year was that you started coming off the bench?
2009, 8?
It's like right where you guys started making the title run.
9, yeah. Just winning.
I mean, I'm sure, and it paid off.
It
So I'm
worked,
sure
it
you
worked,
felt
it
me. You
worked,
won
yeah,
6-man too.
yeah,
It's like you
really
won
quick,
2
it
rings
worked.
and a 6-man. So,
Yeah.
but let's
And
talk about it.
I know basketball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know the reasons why we didn't beat Boston, even though we had them in 2008. But we didn't have the girth and the size. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To pound it out
Right.
7 rounds, 7 games with them. And I knew with Andrew and Powell start the game, and then if you just input me, then you could speed the game up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Give different looks. I know basketball. I know how that would work. So it did pretty fast.
I mean, look what happened.
And I'm
So,
grateful for it.
yeah. Let's talk about the Lakers right now again. We're currently 1 game behind the Clippers for the 6th seed, which means we would avoid the play-in. We got 5 games left.
I think we need to avoid the play-in.
I mean, that's the goal. Because also we'd probably get
So Dennis
Sacramento.
Schroeder told me it was before the road trip. I forget which game it was. Maybe that Minnesota game when they lost at home. The
Yeah, I remember
Minnesota
that
home game.
Friday, right?
Yeah, Friday home game. There you
Yeah.
go. Look at you knowing what day of the week it was.
He
Look
knows
at that.
what's
Okay.
going on in the Lakers.
That was pretty good. Dennis told me that when they had 30 games left, they set a goal of winning 20 of them. Like, we need to win 20 out of 30 so that we can get up out of the play-in tournament. And they really thought they could do it. So I want to go back and look and see how close they are to was 20 out of 30. Since the trade, I think they're 12-7. It's not bad.
They haven't had LeBron in a bunch of
And they hadn't had
years.
LeBron in a lot of those. Personally, the fact that they're so good on defense and that they got some guys who could shoot now, and AD is let's give the man his flowers. That
Right.
man,
AD?
yeah,
Well, he answered my call this year.
He
I was
sure
testing
did. The
him out,
first thing he said was like, yo, we got to, what do you say?
Ain't gonna be shit unless he step up.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like, to me, and this is, I hope this doesn't sound like LeBron slander. Okay, like he's the best player on the team right now. Anthony
is.
Davis is the best player on the team.
That's a great compliment for the Lakers.
It is.
To be your second best player on your team.
I mean, and
I
some of that's
almost forgot how good Anthony Davis was. Like off the dribble,
Yeah.
I forgot how good he was.
yeah.
And making shots
can
off the
shoot,
dribble,
like,
yeah,
yeah.
and like got like this like 2-guard-esque.
When he's aggressive.
Yeah.
game with him, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Extremely talented.
Yeah, he's about being aggressive too. Like sometimes he'll just shoot like 8 shots in a game and they'll lose.
Yeah.
Then he'll shoot like 20, 25
And you can see like a lot of people talk about, okay, he he had kind of a bad game the night LeBron broke the record, right? He was
Yeah.
on the bench, he was down.
so much about that.
He's hard on himself.
Yeah, maybe he wanted to have 40 when LeBron got
Yeah, no,
the
he's
record.
hard.
wanted to
He's
win.
always been like
He
that.
wanted to win.
And part of the reason why when Anthony Davis, like if you don't feed the big man, you know this, you play with big men like that. If you don't get big men involved early, they like lose interest or they feel frustrated.
yeah.
They like don't they suffer on both ends of the court. And so, we used to have that phrase like who eats first, who eats second, who eats third.
Right.
LeBron knows basketball too. Anthony Davis needs to eat first.
Of course.
LeBron can get his anytime. LeBron knows how to score. If he needs to get involved, he'll get involved. But he doesn't need somebody else to get him involved because he's got the ball already.
Right.
Anthony needs somebody to get him involved. So when they make a point of that early in the game, that's when I think the Lakers really get rolling. When you play through Anthony Davis. And that's going to be a challenge because they have LeBron and they have D'Angelo Russell, who both also need the ball. D'Lo has played that role before when he was 6-man in Brooklyn.
Yep.
But here let's not forget, it's a contract year for him.
Right.
Who, D'Angelo Russell?
Yeah.
Yep.
it's a contract year for him. That's that's why he was available.
Right.
Because he hadn't worked it out with Minnesota to have an extension. And they're also going to get real expensive this year. They got to pay Rudy Gobert, Carl.
Yeah.
They're already paying Towns. They got to pay Anthony Edwards this
Edwards.
summer. They got to pay McDaniels this summer.
Yeah.
So they weren't going to go that
maybe
far.
Reed. Who knows?
Nas Reed, yeah.
That's 3 players with $100 million contract.
Yeah.
Can't keep all of them.
Can't keep all of them.
Yeah.
Well, you can if you're the Warriors, but maybe the Clippers too. They can keep everybody.
But you go over the cap, right?
Yeah.
All you gotta do is pay it.
Luxury tax, right?
Just gotta have billionaire owners who don't mind. But you only do that if you're gonna win. Like if you're the Warriors and you're paying Clay, Steph, Draymond, Andrew Wiggins, Jordan Poole, all these dudes, okay, fine, as long as you're winning.
Win. They have. And they won last year.
They won last year.
You have to let me be an owner.
He said he wants to be a coach.
Yeah.
I'll be an owner. I'll be a coach. I'll stack it up.
You got the money to be an owner?
Not yet.
That's like different.
Because now
money.
you don't just need money. You
That's
need like
different money.
You need like 10 billion.
Yeah. But so where do you see the
time.
Lakers ending up? There's 5 games left.
What do you mean? Championship, man.
No, I'm
One
saying
year.
like seeding wise, like playing
Does it matter if you win a
above the
championship?
playing. No,
Just for conversation. We gotta do. We gotta
the fans want to know. The fans are the standings watch. It's very.
I'm telling you, like, I think if they are healthy, and which is like every game you watch. I mean, what was the last game? Anthony Davis sprained his ankle. I was like, oh, there it goes.
He said I'm playing though. He said I'm playing.
I know he said I'm playing, but like that's how
Bought
tenuous.
in. Anthony Davis bought in.
Yeah.
He's bought into the
has to.
camouflage gear.
The camouflage hat. He went to war.
Yeah.
Camouflage hat.
I think AD has been awesome the last month. And like LeBron being out was good. And I don't want to say it was good for the Lakers, but it was good for Anthony Davis in a sense to like reestablish himself.
Right.
Because
I
like,
think it was good for the Lakers.
yeah,
I think it was good.
yeah.
They have some time to bond without their best player. They really proved to themselves how good they could be.
Yeah. And they got dudes like, okay, like if Malik Beasley's having a great shooting night, then you keep him rolling.
Yeah.
If he's not, then you swing it around to Schroeder. That's another. Do you guys talk about Dennis Schroeder
Yeah.
on this podcast?
We have. Yeah. He's a great player. Him.
Can we just like? I think his comeback from like what happened the last time he was here to what
totally.
he's done this year, unbelievable.
Totally. He was in Houston
Shows
last year
mental strength,
Yeah.
mental fortitude, which I like.
with the whole like fumbling the bag
Opted out a
joke,
lot
stuff
of
like that,
money.
where he lost all that money.
Lost out a lot of money.
He went to Houston. He was in Boston.
You lost money.
No, he lost a lot of money.
He lost a lot of money. He's on a minimum deal for the second year in a row.
Then he balled out in
Busting ass,
FIBA.
kicking ass.
Yeah. He's playing hurt. He's playing great.
Oh yeah, he'll twist his ankle, and you'll see most guys will be out, and he'll like, nah, I'm back up, and he plays the next game like it's nothing. So that's a good
We
shot
need
right there.
him to play at a high level of consistency as well. Like
I mean,
all
he-
this
he
in
like-
and out, in and out, in and out.
I know.
In and out. Shit don't work out.
I mean, honestly, roles have been changing. Like you see, Rui didn't even he had a DNP in one of these games. Lonnie, Rui Hachimura didn't
yeah,
play.
Chamar, all these all those guys, if they can play at their best at the same time with Anthony Davis, I'm not even counting LeBron
Yeah.
James because Anthony Davis is good enough to carry a team.
And then you throw in LeBron. So like
You gotta.
that's what's exciting because the Lakers
I mean,
really didn't get to show their
okay, I'm
potential.
gonna name some teams that might play in the first round. You tell me who you think they beat. Let's say they get in, they're the 8 seed. They go through the play-in, they end up as the 8. They face the Denver Nuggets in the first round.
Denver Nuggets could be beat. You seen who they just played against?
They didn't have
last
Jokic,
night.
but yeah. Oh,
But
last
they're
night.
kind of on cruise control right now, so I don't want
Right.
to judge them yet.
Look, I don't give a fuck. Cruise control.
But I
that's
mean, look at
that's
them
a
without
team that
Jokic,
win
though.
championships.
Look at them without Jokic, though.
They're not
And
good
they will
enough
have
to be-
they'll have Jokic, but like the playoffs things slow down. You guys both know that.
Yep.
You have a game plan. You're in a 7-game series.
I'm being honest, and my heart bleeds purple and gold, but I'm also a realistic person, rational person.
Yeah.
I don't think Denver Nuggets are unbeatable.
I agree. They could be beat.
Western Conference. If I'm a Laker, I'm really not scared of any team.
I have one team.
Memphis,
Phoenix.
but they're unproven too.
And they're thin.
If I'm
And they're thin. They don't have depth anymore. They
yeah,
trade away all the depth.
if I'm looking at them, maybe I'm like, okay, maybe they got a first punch that we might not be able to take. But all these other teams, I'm like,
So yeah, you said
We can take their
you
best
said
one.
Denver,
Okay, next one, Memphis.
Memphis. We just talked about this.
we could beat them too.
it's not like these teams are unbeatable, like you just said. They're beatable.
Yeah,
They're
I
Sacramento
personally
beat.
think Memphis is really good. I had picked them to win the
Memphis
West,
is really good. That's the only team I would be really scared of.
Really?
too.
Okay.
but they don't have
With-
Steven
with-
Adams.
with
They
Ja
don't, they don't have Steven Adams. Like that's
and
like
Morant.
their
I mean,
lineup.
without Steven Adams, they got that gives them a hole in there.
Yeah, they don't have Steven Adams or Brandon Clark. So
That's
to
big.
me, Memphis was the team I thought was going to win the
That's
Western
front court.
Conference this
Really?
year. I like preseason prediction. I was like, I think it's Memphis year. But now they don't have their two bigs that really matter for them. Jaren Jackson Jr. is awesome.
Yeah,
let's
all-star,
not undercount that. But he's one guy. He's only one guy.
Ain't no AD.
Now it's Tillman. Yeah, no.
Poor man's AD.
Who?
Triple J.
He have the offensive game like AD does.
And he can shoot the three. He can shoot it.
I think
can
defensively
shoot it.
he's amazing.
Defensively. he's
He can
really
shoot
good,
too.
but He ain't like AD.
He's young though.
Yeah.
He's young.
I said poor man's AD. He's
Well,
grown.
he's like
really
23,
good. though.
24.
He's really good. And he's
I would just say
left-handed.
young. I would just say young. Like,
young.
But he's like to me, Memphis, like the fact that they don't have the front line like they used to because their guys are hurt.
Right.
That hurts, especially in a matchup against the Lakers because
Big
the
time,
Lakers
no.
have Anthony Davis.
Big time.
Okay, let's say you get up to the 6th seed and you face the Sacramento Kings.
That team scare me too.
Kings scare you.
His young legs.
Yeah, that's true. They play fast too.
But what about inexperience?
Yeah,
Like, because
inexperience,
you have a lot of
They
experience.
also have a
in the
bottom
playoffs.
5-6 defense. Their defense is not that
They
good.
don't play
They're not
defense.
that good.
Defensively, no. I mean, they just score a lot of points.
They're young and they run. They can shoot.
In the playoffs, the things slow down.
Right.
And we'll get them with the inexperience.
I would say that's my
Late
favorite.
game situation, we'll get them.
That's like a team. That's the team I'd ideally want to play in the first round.
Although
wanna play
De'Aaron
them?
Fox is like the best clutch player in the league.
Oh yeah, fourth quarter. Yeah,
West Coast
he's
is-
that guy.
The West is tough too, though.
Yeah. Okay, then let's
So
go
it's Phoenix.
current 4-5 matchup. There's
It's
the
Phoenix.
teams right in the middle. Clippers, Phoenix,
Golden State.
Golden State.
I don't want to play Golden State.
I don't either. I think Golden State's the team.
We
People
gotta
are so scared. I mean,
We
it's
gotta stay.
justified
We
though.
gotta stay away from Golden State. Last
Okay.
10 or 20 years, the only teams that win the NBA championship, I think, come from Dallas and California.
Yeah, Texas and California.
Yeah. Well, the Cavs won one.
Well, we're saying like
West Coast
West
teams.
Coast.
Oh, you
yeah.
mean West
It's a
Coast,
crazy
yeah.
stat. I saw that too. It's a crazy.
To
stat.
me, like I never count out the Warriors. Never.
That's crazy.
I mean, they're defending champs anyway. It's
Yeah.
like they had a crazy.
They
year.
need Andrew Wiggins back. Theoretically, he's coming back.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of. I know I've heard he's been staying in shape, but it's different staying in shape versus
actually
like
being game speed,
it's
like-
different. He's gonna need a minute.
Time.
So would
So-
you say you'd like? Is that team? Is Phoenix or Warriors a team that like?
To me, Phoenix and the Warriors are like the two teams that I think are
Phoenix,
like,
Warriors, and Memphis.
and
avoid
Memphis.
Still Memphis.
I agree, but let's put it this way: you're a boxing guy, right? So like what I would call the Lakers is a live underdog. Like they got a shot, which is saying something for a 9th place team.
But
We were 13 for
every
most of the
team
year
that
anyway.
Yeah.
participates in the playoffs has a shot.
No, I don't agree with that.
That's the truth.
Okay.
Technically, yes.
Technically,
Technically,
yes.
it's the
But,
truth. But,
okay,
like,
let me tell you some other teams
realistically-
that are in the playoffs. You think Brooklyn Nets have a chance?
Hell no.
Why not? If you
Hell,
They're
what
in
do
the
you mean?
playoffs.
If you
Bro,
make the playoffs,
They don't have a star that
ha-
can carry them like
you
that.
don't have to have a
Yeah,
star. if you
yeah,
make the
McCall
playoffs.
Bridges heard that, okay?
Mikal Bridges.
I'm
Okay,
telling
we'll
you.
give him his
He's good.
flowers because he's been dropping
He's
like
good.
40.
Playing with star potential. He has
Okay.
star potential, Mikal Bridges.
But like when
Nah,
you're
they're
like, do you think the Miami Heat can win a championship?
No.
Not with that team. I don't know, maybe. But okay, like any team is like the equivalent in the Eastern Conference. Okay, let's name some teams. You think-
Bucks.
no, the Bucks
are
are
you
the top
saying
team.
teams that won't?
The
No,
teams
the
are in the
Bucks.
same range as the Lakers,
Yeah,
like
Hawks.
7 to 10.
It's like-
Cleveland.
Well,
No,
Cleveland's a
they're
little higher. They're
it's,
about
it's
5.
Hawks. It's Brooklyn. It's
Hawks.
It's Bulls.
Chicago, they look pretty good.
All
the other
these
day.
teams, if they get a
Doing
streak,
shit, bro. They're not doing anything. What are you,
bro.
bro?
Just saying, bro. I played. Maybe I feel like that because I played on a team that lost 20 games in a row by 20.
Yeah.
Clippers,
So y'all-
right?
Yeah.
That's right. I forget your Clipper years.
Yeah.
Your Clipper years.
know what I
What's it your wait, there's another Lamar story. How'd you break your ankle in a layup line?
Oh no, it wasn't layup line. It was worse than that. It was.
I don't know this.
I was getting my cash removed
Okay.
Okay.
from my had
A wrist injury?
wrist injury, and we were in shoot around. I was fucking hype that day, whatever. Boom, jumped up and dunked the ball.
Yep.
Boom, came down on the basketball.
On the
Oh,
basketball.
That's unlucky. That's
in
just like-
pregame?
It was in shoot around.
Shoot around.
you broke your ankle.
No, I rolled it. I should have broke it. I was like 6 weeks for that shit.
So you can't control that. It's a ball.
That's like one of the stories people say like the Clippers are cursed, you know.
It was crazy.
Back then when they had Sterling.
Yeah, they still haven't won anything yet, though. So
Listen,
I know you got
if
some
Paul
left in
George
you.
was healthy, I really like the Clippers, but he's not healthy. So
Yeah, I like him too if he's healthy.
I still like him because I think Ty Lue is that good of a coach.
They tough.
Great coach.
I still think Ty, depending on the matchup, but like if the Clippers play Phoenix in the first round, ooh,
Oh,
that's gonna be hard.
Phoenix taking that.
Nobody wants
I
Phoenix
think-
in the first round.
Nobody. But
They
it's
can beat 'em,
exciting.
though.
That's the point. I mean, like, it's exciting. So many things can move from 7 to like 11, or no, even like 5 to 11. Like,
I was
Yeah.
so personally hurt
What?
when I seen Kevin Durant go to
Phoenix or Golden
Suns.
State? Because there's two of them.
Phoenix Suns. Like I was hurt. I took.
Well, you called it USA team. That's
Like
what you
he
said.
did
That's what
something
you-
hurt to me. Like he helped. Like he hurt me.
Why?
So I hate Phoenix. You know,
Really?
Dallas. We don't like Boston, and we don't like Phoenix.
Huh?
Yeah, he's not a fan of Phoenix.
Yeah.
You guys.
I
had-
didn't think anybody hated
You
Phoenix.
guys had wars in the playoffs with them too.
Huh?
Like, you
That's
guys
true.
had
The Steve
wars.
Nash games, yeah,
We had them round 3-1. They beat us, motherfuckers.
I remember that.
Yeah, Lamar does not.
Can I tell you a funny story about that?
Yeah.
You guys were supposed to play the Clippers in the next round. Remember that? And it was like you were up 3-1, and I started working ahead because that's what we do. We work ahead on stories. We're like,
Right.
we're gonna have the hallway series.
Yep.
Lakers Clippers playoffs.
I'm sure you
right?
had that ready for the bubble too.
Yeah, but it was different because it wasn't at Staples Center.
Who
Right,
won
true.
the championship that year from the West? Dallas?
Let's think. So then the Phoenix beat Clippers in the next round, and then who'd they play? Did they play San Antonio?
Or San Antonio maybe win.
Sounds right. I can't remember, but no, Dallas went to the finals the year they beat you. That's 2012.
It's crazy, boy. Sports like a game of inches, but one rebound away.
It's like, but when he goes to Phoenix, I still think that they're a really dangerous team because to me Devin Booker is
Oh yeah,
Devin
totally.
Booker is
Phoenix,
amazing.
no,
Like he's
yeah.
a superstar.
He is.
Yeah, he is, but they got so much better offensively.
Yeah.
They gave up so much.
They of course they had to.
They gave up a lot, and I
Bridges
think
Johnson, yeah.
they'll reload though. Everybody's trying to get to Phoenix this offseason. Like that's the team that like
That's scary.
if you have a disgruntled star, if you have a whatever, everybody's trying to get to Phoenix.
Scary.
Scary, very
Really
scary.
But yeah, it's exciting and it's gonna come down to the end as a race for the play-in and playoffs. So I mean, Lakers just gotta win. They gotta take care. I know there's a lot of standings watch, but they just gotta take care of their own business.
That's where you asked me about Darvin earlier. I thought he did a really good job of keeping everybody together early on when they were struggling.
Yeah.
Because like when you have a team with this much on it and this much tension, and then you go 0-5 out of the gate, or you lose a lot
Then
out of the
2 and
gate.
10. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were still playing hard for him. Like they didn't turn on him. You could tell they were still trying to play
Right.
defense. Like they lost a lot of stupid games that they shouldn't have lost.
Well, these are the
Many.
times where we got to win the games we should win. Like this Houston game tonight,
Yeah.
must win.
Utah twice. Got Clippers.
Utah
Phoenix.
twice in Utah.
One's here. The last game is here at Utah.
Yeah. But we'll see. I want to get into your career a little bit more.
Sure.
And then we'll wrap it up. But how much effort goes into ensuring sources are correct before you break the story? Because I know a lot of things are moving. Like as you want
The
to.
older I get, the less I go for it. The more cautious I get.
Right,
The
like a-
older
like
I
a
get,
home
the
run
more
story,
cautious I
basically,
get. When I was younger, I was stupid. I didn't know, like, when people were spinning me, I didn't know how to, like, evaluate the quality of information I was getting, like, who I was getting it from. Because,
Right.
it's, you'd have agents will spin you stuff, or, like, even people who, like, should know, they're wrong sometimes.
Right. Yeah,
know what I
we
mean?
see
Like-
it all the time. We just saw it with LeBron with like the reevaluation and then
But then he played one night
then he
later.
played, like, yo, he's gonna come back. The last
I didn't
game
think
of the
that was
game.
wrong, by the way. I think he was just clapping back because he didn't want any timetables put on him. Like I didn't think what
It worked out for the Lakers, but yeah.
But like
I mean,
he
that's-
acted like that report was wrong, and it wasn't wrong. Like he played 2 nights later. Like I think
Yeah.
he just with his injury, he didn't want the pressure put on him to say like he's gonna come back.
certain time, yeah.
And like I think in general, I'm very cautious what I say now because I hear you talk to people, you hear a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
but stuff like now everything you say gets aggregated. Everything you say is report, you know? And so like if you heard something like in a conversation, even if it's with the general manager of the team or the coach of the team or whatever it is, like it's still, you can't say it until you're sure that's what they're going to do. Like, okay, I'll give you a good example. With Westbrook earlier in the year. Do you know how many people behind the scenes would be like telling you they're going to send him home?
Yeah,
Like they're going to,
every week.
all the time they're going to say
The whole
that. Like,
vampire story, like that, all of that.
yeah, that was, the vampire thing was later, but like, do you know people would like say bad stuff about Russ? Like, oh, how much longer can they keep doing this?
Yeah.
How much longer? They should just send him home. Like people would vent to you. And you're like, you gotta be careful as a reporter not to be like, well, I had a source tell me last night that they're really frustrated with him and might send him home.
Right.
Because that's not true.
Right.
That's just somebody venting. Like, that's what they're feeling. That's what they're speculating. But that's not Rob Pelinka making that decision.
Right. You're right.
That's not Darvin Ham making that decision. By the way, that would go all the way up to ownership if they ever got to that point. And I think they were close a couple times, especially early on. First 5 games of the year, I think if he did not accept that bench role, I think he was going to get there real fast.
Right. You're right. Yep.
But
I agree.
he did accept the bench role, and then he played
flourished.
pretty good for a while.
Yeah. We just weren't
And then,
winning, though.
I mean, and so like, I'm like more cautious now than I ever was. One, because I'm at ESPN. I can't be wrong.
You also establish yourself more. It's like you don't. I feel like you
Yeah.
don't really need to go for like a home run story.
No, you go for the home run story when you really have it.
When you have it, I'm saying when you have
Yeah,
it.
when you really
It's not
freaking
like
have
you
it.
need to risk it. Like it could be. Like,
But you don't toss speculatory things out
Right.
there, like especially because there's people talk all like when I was a younger reporter, like I don't know. I mean, I would like you would say more, and you would repeat stuff people say to you more,
Right.
and a lot of it turned out wrong. Like, and it wasn't like anybody was lying to you, but it's just not the right primary source.
Right.
Like, so I always like, you know, the only time this is gonna sound like you ever watch The Princess Bride? You know that movie? No, Andre the Giant and Carrie Elways
Yeah.
or something like that. Remember that? Like, there's a good example. So Mike D'Antoni was the coach, and he was going to get fired at the end of the year. And I was pretty sure of it because I had pretty good sourcing on that they were going to fire him after the year. But I'm not going to report Mike D'Antoni's going to be fired after the year because there's still 10 games left. What happens if they win those 10 games?
Right.
What happens if they make a playoff run? What happens if
Can change. Yeah.
you know, like, oh, the Lakers are thinking of firing him, they're leaning towards, like, I mean, it's like, you can't say that he's going to get fired until they actually fire him.
Right.
You know, there was that story last year about Frank Vogel, like, oh, if
Yeah,
they lose
that
that
was
game, they
crazy.
were going to fire him. I knew about that too. There was that chatter. If they lost that game, they were going to fire him.
That's
But they
crazy.
won that game.
Yeah.
So it felt weird that story came out because they won the game and they didn't fire him.
They were like it was a game by game base, which is like
Yeah.
insane. It's like insane though. Do you hear about
And
that?
it was true.
If like Frank Vogel loses, they're firing him tonight. But if he wins, he
But
stays.
but
It
but
was
the
like-
thing
it was
is, people can
insane,
say
bro.
that, but until they actually do it, it's not. They didn't do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like to me, like you can say the way the Lakers are debating the future of Frank Vogel,
Yes.
and you could say they're in a game by game evaluation. You could say that.
Yeah.
But like I'm really cautious with that kind of stuff because things change. Like even injury wise, I remember when D'Lo got hurt, I had heard he was going to be back for that Minnesota game or something. He was trying to get back for that
Right.
game.
Yep.
And I said, and I think internally there was an expectation he was going to be back, but his ankle didn't respond. It just didn't respond as well.
Yeah.
So like I had said that on a show, and I felt bad later because I was like, well, it changed. That's why like injuries, you got to know you're right. You don't have to like push send on something on a tweet and hope you're right.
Yeah, that's
Oh, I hope that's right.
because then it'll come back to you.
No, then you're not going to trust me anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It'll come back to you.
And
But
it's
you
different
won't
when you're at
realize it.
ESPN. Can't be wrong.
You
More
can't.
accountable, baby.
Yeah.
ESPN is ESPN. They have their reputation. so,
ESPN,
like, yeah,
baby.
you're employed by ESPN.
Yeah.
You got to uphold that.
So I don't go with it until I'm really, really sure.
Yeah.
No
No
fake
and I wish,
news, baby.
No fake news, bro.
right?
No
And it's
fake
like,
news.
people want to. I'll be on a show or whatever. And they're, tell me more. You know, Max
They want to
Kellerman's
poke
always
you
doing that.
before, yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I think, and it's always it's an informed opinion,
Right.
right? Because I talk to people, but I got to be careful because people venting to you is not reporting. Does that make sense? Yeah. People vent, you know that, LO. Yeah. How many times we stand at your locker and you vent to some reporter?
Always.
It's just venting. Yeah. It's not,
I mean, Brad Turner knows
You had to watch that,
everybody's.
though. I can
Everybody's.
vent to Brad Turner.
Yeah.
because who's listening, bro? You never know who's listening.
No, Brad has been on the beat forever, and to
Yeah.
me, I have like a ton of respect for Brad. I think Brad's like the best. Like there's a reason he's been around for as long
He's
as
LA
he has.
Times, right?
Yeah. And like Brad, like everybody talks to Brad. Brad knows everything.
Yeah.
You know, but he's cautious with what he reports too. Like you can vent to him, but like just because you're venting doesn't mean that's what you're gonna.
Yeah.
You know, doesn't mean that's what's gonna happen. Doesn't mean you're actually gonna do it.
Yeah. And like the regular NBA fan doesn't understand these things. Like they'll see venting and then or whoever's in the locker room will hear it. And
That's called like, I mean, how many players do I know that are unhappy in their current situations?
but it's not public.
Just because you're unhappy doesn't mean anything's gonna happen about it.
Right.
Doesn't mean you're gonna do anything about it. You're still gonna show up and play,
Yeah. You gotta be professional.
right? So unless you actually ask for a trade, you know,
It's things you probably have learned throughout your long career of reporting. I want to talk about one more thing, and then we'll finish off with rapid fire questions. But one thing, 'cause I know you are an athlete. You played at Stanford baseball for 4 years, right?
softball, yeah,
Softball.
right field,
Right, Phil?
outfield.
You got an arm?
Got that
Oh,
you got
real
that
good
big
arm.
You got that
I used to
Mookie
like
Betts
warm
arm.
up and I'd like show it off so they wouldn't run on me, you know.
So we see Caitlin Clark. We were just talking about her
Yeah.
before the pod, before you stepped in.
And fucking incredible.
What do you think about her and,
she-
and the fact that like what could she do for the WNBA? I know she's still in college.
She
Obviously.
seems like a generational talent to me. So you know how like a number one draft pick will come in every year. There's a number one draft pick every year, but not all the number one draft picks are created equal.
Right.
Some of them are LeBron. Okay, some of them are
Anthony Bennett.
okay.
I'll say.
Andrew Wiggins, whatever. Like Andrew Wiggins is a good player. He turned out to be an all-star 10 years later, you know. But it's not LeBron, you know. In the WNBA, they've had a few number one picks that have been like, okay, Candace Parker was number one pick. Sparks got her. They went to the finals the next year. Right? I mean, like she was MVP and Rookie of the Year the same year.
Damn.
That's crazy.
It's pretty good, right?
Candace Parker. Shout out to
That's
Candace
probably never
Parker.
happened in the NBA, huh?
No,
Rookie
no,
of the year
No
in
way.
NBA?
no. I'm very rare for a rookie to even make an all-star team. To even make an all-star team. Like when Blake Griffin made it as a rookie, it was like caused some controversy. To me, Caitlin is the kind of like Breonna Stewart. That's a number one draft pick. Okay, Breonna Stewart comes in the league. Seattle's in the playoffs. You know, like Seattle goes from like worst team to the best team, or like one of the best teams, right? You know, the last few years, like Sabrina Ionescu, she was supposed to be like the next big thing. She's been good, but the Liberties, they're in the playoffs, but they didn't win yet. You know, Nneka Gumake, she was pretty franchise changing, but like took them a while to make the finals when she got there. Like so, like there's number one picks that are like perennial all stars, and that's a good thing. And then there's number one picks that like you become a contender.
You think her team will be?
I think she's that good.
It's exciting. You know,
She's
it's
that
very-
good.
It's exciting.
Now, you know who gets her? I don't know. They got to play a whole season, right?
Girl basketball, men's basketball, whatever you want to wrap it up on Mars.
She played with the guys growing up.
She could poop, bro.
She can hoop.
You could tell.
Told her
'cause she
Steph
got
Curry.
like
She
the-
could shoot like Steph. She could pass.
She would sprint to the spot with the basketball in her hand and pull.
Yep, like Steph,
It's exciting.
and she's tall too. She's
Transcending.
she's a big with that kind of game. Like, and she got some swag too. She got some swag.
I feel like the WNBA needs that.
Yeah,
There they do.
So it's definitely exciting.
Give her $1 million.
they have a salary cap.
You know what I mean?
Do you know what
Give
the
her the
top
whole
player
shit.
can make?
How much?
You want to know?
It's got to be more than six
500,000.
seven
Nope.
figures. No.
The highest salary is like $250
Wow.
because they got a hard cap. Like their hard cap is like you can't go over the hard cap.
There's no luxury
She's
tax.
gonna be one of the reasons that.
That changes.
Yeah.
I should just make a bunch of money in endorsements.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean,
You know, like
She
she'll
gonna-
make her
she
money
gonna
off
build
the
the
court.
whole shit up because
you said she has swag too.
their
Like,
ticket, the girls' ticket, Final Four ticket was higher than the men's ticket.
Yeah, well it was.
Right. it's
And
because
you know
of her.
what?
really?
It's because of her,
And
but
it's
it's
because
also,
of her.
It's because of her, but also because of South Carolina. Let's give them some due. Dawn Staley, badass, total badass. Okay, Aaliyah Boston, like the reason why the women's Final Four to me had so much appeal this year is because you have teams where like we've gotten to know these players over the years. Like people stay in college for 3 or 4 years.
yeah.
And in the men's Final Four, it's like different people every year. Like
one and
I
done,
mean,
yeah.
I've never seen a Final Four like this. There's not even a 1 seed there.
Crazy.
Who you like in the Final Four? I mean, in the championship game, UConn or San Diego State?
I like San Diego State. But
Yeah?
I think UConn is gonna win because
Yeah.
the basketball guard's probably on their side.
Really?
For all the giving itself to basketball down in New Jersey.
Yeah, that's
You know
true.
what I mean?
You know him?
Yeah. And then his brother, Bobby, of course. It just seemed like it's just gonna come back around to their family.
You know his dad?
Yeah.
How you know him?
Was father,
Yeah.
different player.
Yeah.
Coached in St. Anthony's.
Yeah.
All those years. Good guy, strong, hard man,
Yeah.
hard worker.
That last shot the guy from San Diego hit
Crazy.
was a pretty good shot.
Yeah. I didn't even think he was gonna get it off.
God bless the mid range.
Literally, you got it.
I was like a mid range jumper.
for the win. Yeah.
Shit, he didn't even try to get fouled.
No.
Like usually on the
Sure.
last set, like your last shot like that,
That's the shot
you
that's
drip.
always there, though.
You go
Yeah.
to the layup. Yeah. You go to
Yeah.
the hole.
Get to the rack, somebody's going to
That's
meet
one
you.
of your shots right there that he
Get
hit.
to the rack, somebody's going to meet you. Mid-range is probably going to be there.
And you're gonna put the game in the referee's hands.
Yeah.
Right.
But usually dudes will try to like at the end of a game they're trying to get fouled. They take it to the rack, try to get
Yeah.
fouled.
Or like
He
shoot a
was like
three or
taking
something.
his time.
Yeah.
Got to his spot, had a perfect setup.
Good
I was
look.
like,
You're going to remember that forever.
Oh yeah.
I scared the baby yesterday when I was watching that
When you
game.
screamed?
Because the baby was sitting there, I was like feeding him like a dinner kind of, and I was like, oh, we gotta watch this, son, we gotta watch this, and all of a sudden he hit, I was like, oh, and he was like, and he didn't know what I was yelling about, and he was like, oh, like that.
All right. Let's.
I wasn't even rooting for anybody. I was just like
No, it's
excited because I
exciting.
like
It's
basketball,
like- Let's finish up with some rapid fire questions. The first question is probably gonna be a little long because I want to ask you a story, but after that, we'll go rapid fire. So, you've been obviously covering and been around the Lakers for a while. What is your favorite Kobe story?
Oh,
I'm sure there's plenty.
I got a lot of Kobe
A
stories.
lot of memories.
What kind of let's put what genre you want it?
Maybe like comedy, like something
funny
funny,
Kobe
a funny
story?
story.
Those are harder ones. Do you remember that one playoff year where he was like Mr. like that? Like he was like,
Started playing against Phoenix when he wouldn't shoot the ball at the end of the game.
oh yeah, that one. Not that one. Not that one. He don't like to talk about that one. No, it was 2009 because you guys had lost to Boston. And he was like, okay, I'm in playoff mode. I'm gonna be grumpy. And I was like, just trying to poke him. I was just trying to get like, I was trying to poke him, and he like, I would ask, like, I got to get him to laugh. I got to get him to crack a smile because he was trying to be like, and he
Yeah.
was like gritting his teeth like
Get
that.
that revenge.
And I did eventually one press conference. I did get him to crack, but okay. Here's a good one. This is funny. His last game, I was like, man, you're gonna cry. I know you're gonna cry, right? Like this is gonna be like you're gonna get out there. They're gonna say it's your last game. They're gonna introduce you, and you're just gonna bawl, right? And he's like, no, I'm not. And I was like, you are definitely going to cry. Like, come on, this is gonna be like Roy Firestone, those interviews, like you. And he was like, I'm not. And I have to find the text, but he was just like, I'm a crying genius. Like I know how not to cry or something. He's like, I was like, you won't even cry one tear. He was like, no, not one tear. He's like, okay, maybe from one eye. Like that, we were going back and forth. And he was like, I'm a crying genius, you know. He was like,
crazy.
I mean, he was. Let me see if I can find it.
The legend.
He was really funny because we definitely like going into that last one. He was really that last game. He was ready. He was ready to be done. You know.
He had 60 points.
60. He like missed his first like 6 or 7 shots. Then after that, and they won the game. He had a game winner.
And Utah was trying to make the playoffs.
They were trying to make a play. They had to
Kept
win.
them out of the
bro. They had to
playoffs.
You
win.
did.
Like people forget about that. Like they had to win that game. It wasn't like, oh, we're gonna let Kobe win and let Kobe score. They were like doubling him at
Yeah.
some point. So
He was ready to be done that whole year because I know he knew he didn't have it anymore, and he didn't want to play if he didn't have it anymore.
body,
and also like the team sucked.
yeah,
Like it's kind of like hard to watch Kobe on that team.
yeah.
I was like,
He had no one to help him. It was like,
Yeah,
oh,
he had those young
it was
kids. They were
It was
good.
kids, but like it wasn't like, yo, we're not actually contenders.
Kobe was really funny. He was sarcastic as shit. Like he was like, but he like cared. Like Kobe would like check on you. Like he would send you text messages. Like I remember when I was pregnant, he would like check in. He'd be like,
Really?
"How's mommy doing?" You know, like I was like, "Wow, that's nice of you to
Really?
even like check." You know, and like he was he wasn't just like a guy who was like transactional and stuff. Like I mean, he was very much like, "I don't have time for friends." Like that's his line. Like
Yeah.
Championship. Like I'm out doing things in the world, but like if he respected you, like I remember even with him with you.
He was family oriented.
Yeah.
Like if you were in a circle, he cared about you.
Yeah, he cared. Like he would send a text. Like he's not gonna go out to lunch with you. We're not gonna make time
Yeah.
all that time. But he would like send a text. He would call. Remember that he brought you a game that last year. You remember that? I remember one of your first games back after what happened to you in Vegas. Like, he brought you to the game so you could be there. You were at his last game, right?
Yeah, I was at
Yeah, you were there.
And you were there a couple games before that too.
I was at his last game, though, definitely.
And it was like the funniest thing because he scored 60 points
That was
on
crazy.
50 freaking
50
shots.
I remember you
Who told me this? I think it was like
50 times?
50
50
times.
times.
I think Horace Grant was like, I don't think I shot the ball 50 times in a season.
You were. I remember you gave him a hug and you were just like, bro. You're
You
like,
got to be strong-willed.
his legs were just that was it. Like he was like, he was done. Like that was it. He gave it
I
all. That was
rewatched
it.
his speech at the end, and he was laughing about it. Like, he basically was like, you know, the funniest thing is that all these years you guys are telling me I don't pass enough. And this last
50
game,
shot, yeah.
nobody wants me to pass. Just shoot it every time.
Yeah, I remember that.
50 freaking shots. When's the last time somebody shot 50 times in a game? In a regular game.
You'd probably know.
Not like
better than
double
me.
overtime or
You
something.
would know before.
You would know better than me.
50
Yeah.
shots. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
All right, let's do these rapids.
Yeah.
For both you guys. All right. MVP this season, Embiid or Jokic?
Embiid. I might vote Giannis, though. Either Embiid or Giannis. Me.
Oh, so it's
Giannis
not
is
even
number one. Like, his team is the best team in the league.
best record in the league.
Yeah, and he's great. Like, if you look at his stats, he's like up
So
there.
you'd say Giannis.
Right now, I'm Embiid or Giannis.
Okay. What about you?
I don't know how you're not going to give it to Jokic if his stats is the same or he's not even better.
Best team in the West.
Like,
And look at them without him.
it's like they're like
Do they even make the
really
playoffs
like
now?
it's
Like-
like they're
He's
like
amazing.
So like
He is amazing. Jokic is amazing.
I would say Jokic personally, but we'll see. It's
But
very
you don't have a
close.
vote.
I
But
do not. You have a
Embiid
vote,
is-
right? You.
Embiid has had a monster second half. You know what? I think it really does come down to the end because, like, they play the Bucks and the Celtics in the last few games of the year.
Ooh, Embiid.
Yeah. So, like, I think, okay,
Do you vote?
yeah. Jokic has 2 MVPs.
Shelburne, bro.
Giannis has 2 MVPs. Joel has none. And to me, you can't just be the MVP by default. Like, he's earned it this year, but he's got to have. You got to close hard.
They gotta
Yeah,
close
these
out
are
You
hard.
got it. You know what I mean? Like he skipped that game, and I don't think he skipped it. 'Cause I don't think he was ducking it. Let's put that to rest.
Okay.
His calf was killing
What, the
him.
Jokic game, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, he didn't play.
His calf was killing him. He shouldn't have played him. He played a back-to-back against Golden State and Phoenix because James Harden was out with an Achilles, and they were still trying to get that 1 seed. So he was playing and he pushed it, and he should have sat out one of those games, so that he would have been teed up to play against Jokic. But like, okay. Are you gonna fault the man for playing in a back-to-back?
No.
You know, his calf is killing him. You can't. If you're a big man, you can't screw around with a calf. Like you
Yeah.
can't. Like when it's like I could quibble with him playing in the second night of that back-to-back. That's the one that he should have skipped. So you're ready, and also like injury-wise, that's a bad game.
Yeah.
Second night I mean, he really does have a bad calf, but like
The
that
fans
was a
don't
chance
care.
for him to like end the story. Like if he would have played against Jokic and won that game and
Yeah.
dominated, like the first game he scored 47 to 15.
Yeah.
If he would have had another game like that, it's over. He wins. So now it's still open.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens with Boston. Let's see what happens with Milwaukee. Let's see what happens with Philly. Let's see what happens with Denver.
We'll see. It's good.
It's gonna go down to the wire.
I saw it was like matter of 2 votes. But yeah. Next. What was it like being inducted into the California Jewish Sports Hall of Fame?
There it is.
You know, we got
There it
we got
is.
2 Jews here.
Yeah.
You want to get in one day, huh?
I would love to. I would love to.
You gotta keep working, Aaron.
Yeah. Well, I'm only 24. I got
You got
some
plenty
more
of time. It was funny because I was like, so are you like inducting me because I was like city section player of the year when I was in high school?
Yeah.
When I was in high school? Or are you inducting me because I like work for ESPN now, right? And they were like, oh, both. And I was like, oh, because it would be cool if it was for my like playing career, you know, like, because I was good back in the day, like 25 years ago. Okay, it was a while ago, but okay. It was cool. Like, my mom always says like Judaism is like a time release capsule. So you do all this stuff when you're a kid, and you're like, oh, what do I have to have a bat mitzvah? What do I have to do?
Yeah.
I'll learn this Hebrew stuff. Like, but then like later in life, you really appreciate it. And you appreciate all the
totally.
traditions. So like as the older I got, the more I appreciated
He's
it.
a big fan of Shabbat. Big fan of. No, I'm being serious.
Well, you're the one going to Cancun for Pesach.
Yeah. So for Passover, I'm going to Cancun. You guys got any plans?
Some people go kosher for Passover. You go to Cancun for Passover.
Well, I assure you, we're gonna keep it kosher, right, Lamar?
Facts.
Keep it kosher.
No, it meant a lot, to be honest, because like, I feel like people don't think I'm Jewish because my last name is Shelburne. That's my dad's last name, but like my mom's side of the family, and like I've learned a lot about my family. Like a lot of them were wiped out in the Holocaust. Like I go to Israel all the time to see my family that still lives there. Like it's a meaningful part of my history. So, and it's also like, I'm big in like the traditions. Like I sent my kid to a Jewish preschool. We learn all the Purim stories and the Passover stories and stuff like that. So it's the time release capsule, right? Like I wasn't in my 20s. I wasn't as into it, or my 30s even. Like I remember in college, I was like, am I gonna go to Hillel? Am I gonna go to the High Holy Days? Am I gonna do that? When I was in college, I didn't go.
Nah.
No, but then I came back around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their own journey.
Yeah.
What was your favorite NBA news story to break and why?
Favorite?
Yeah.
Favorite's a different question. Probably the biggest one I ever did though was reporting on the Sterling story, when Donald got kicked out of the league.
Yep.
And I remember, there was this one moment where like they sold the team, but then Donald's lawyer called and said, no, we didn't. And I was like, well, how is it that Steve Ballmer and Shelley are saying they sold the team and Donald's lawyer is saying, no, he didn't. So I heard from I heard from some people who are like involved, right? I'll put it that way, that they had the authority to sell it without his permission because he had been declared mentally incapacitated.
What?
Like he had early onset, he had dementia. And so they had gotten 2 psychologists to see him and said he had Alzheimer's or something, and he was not capable of making his decisions.
Wow.
Financial decisions. And so I was like, oh shit. Like that was like checkmate.
Spicy.
That was like a checkmate. You talk about being nervous on a story. I mean, I had impeccable sourcing, like 3 impeccable sources on it. And even then I'm still like, oh shit. It's a big story. Oh my God. Like, but I knew I was right, but even when you know you're right, it's still like like I had a couple of big trades, like the James Harden trade when he went to Brooklyn. Woj and I were working on that one together. Yeah. Even when we have 3 really good we don't go with one source. We go with for a big trade like that, you gotta have 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And like you're still nervous. You're still every time your hands are shaking.
It's a huge story. It's a
big story.
Like you saw what happened with Aaron Judge. Like that kind of stuff. It's scary. To like say he's one of the Giants and he didn't. So I get that.
And a lot of times like people don't mean to steer you wrong. They just are. They just are wrong. Like they're wrong.
It's what they hear, right? They just say what they hear, and it could end up being wrong.
Yeah.
So
that's why you get 2 or 3 sources.
Yeah. Last question. And this is one that I got from my followers because a lot of them were asking the same question. They want to know, what is your best piece of advice for people that are looking to get into the industry that you're in, sports reporting, and especially for a female? Because it's not. I feel like it's not the same.
No, it's not the same. Like for real, like it's really not the same. Like you really have to watch. You have to have a really good eye for like how something's gonna look. Like I never do interviews that are not in public. Like somebody will be like I think a male reporter. A lot of teams will be on the road. They'll be like, oh, why don't you just come over to the hotel?
Right.
We'll do an interview here. I can't do that. How's that gonna look?
Right. People won't even think about that. Like
nothing's gonna happen. I'm a married lady. I'm not gonna do anything. But like, you don't want to put yourself in any kind of positions that look like that.
There's all these rumors, bro.
Like, you don't want to be out. Like, you don't want to be out at the bar. You don't want to let's say you're just out to dinner. Or you're out at the bar and you see some people you know. I don't go over there. I might say hello, but you no. And whereas I think a male reporter probably could.
Right. It's different.
They could go over there because they're not. It doesn't look like that. So always be aware of how you look, how you're presenting yourself. Perception really matters. You know that. You were in the Kardashian circle for a minute there.
That's a fact.
Everybody's always watching.
No, totally.
Like I feel like a weirdo. Like I'm at a dinner or something. Let's say I'm out with a source. We're doing an interview, or like I'm just out with a source. Like I'm just out with somebody.
Right.
I'm always my head's on a swivel. I'm like, is anybody recording us? People got a cell phone camera?
shit's
scares
happening.
it scares the shit out of me all the time.
It's
Like I'll be out to lunch with another reporter even, and we'll be talking shop. Somebody recording me, like I'm like, is anybody who's watching us? Like, what if we're talking about stuff, and somebody got their cell phone out recorded, it's like stuff like that.
Game. Like that shit can happen. Like
people do bad shit like that all the time.
You saw it happen. People get fired
all the time.
Like,
so what's my best advice? Treat people like people. Treat people like you want to be treated. Like, don't go up to a player and ask him a provocative question just to try to get him to say some shit.
Right.
That you're gonna get him to go viral because they know you guys are smart. You know what you were trying to do.
It happened to you so many times. They try to bait you.
So many.
People try to bait you. They try to like get you to say some shit. They try to like make and then you gotta tweet it. It's gonna go viral. It's just like you're treating them like a quote machine. Like you're treating them like a commodity.
Right.
And I think that's not the right way to do it.
I respect
it's
that.
It's a way to, if you want to make a little noise for yourself for like a hot minute, but if you want to build lasting relationships that are going to build a career, you got to learn to talk to people and you got to show up. You got to look them in the eye. Like one of my big pet peeves is like, is when people don't go to games even when they don't even like know the people they're talking about. Because if I don't know you and I'm going to talk about you like that, that feels wrong.
Right.
Like you need to be able to say something to me the next time that I see you.
Yep.
Right? I mean, do you respect, like, let's say somebody's on TV just popping off about you and you've never met them in their whole life and they're judging you or whatever. Now, listen, you're allowed to have an opinion. Yeah. I have opinions about people I've never met before, but I try to make an effort to show up.
Not to voice them on TV.
I mean, look, you get paid to voice them on TV. Like, I'm on Around the Horn and I have to talk about football players I've never met. I don't go to those games. Like, I'm a basketball reporter, right? I used to cover football. I used to cover college football, so it's not like I don't know the game, but like, I don't go as hot takey as I think. It's easy to say some shit about people you don't know, and it's like you lose sight. It's not even just about like, do you know them? It's like, do you respect their journey? Do you respect their craft? Like nobody's out there dogging it. Nobody who's a professional athlete is out there not trying.
Right.
There's people who try harder than others. There are people who are more disciplined than others. But like I was on the radio the other day and somebody was trying to get me to say somebody's fat. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that. First of all, I'm certainly not gonna say that. I can lose a few pounds myself, okay?
But like, they're trying to bait you into doing stuff.
Yeah, like I know what it was. They're talking about Zion Williamson.
Yeah.
And they were like, "What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear Zion?" And like the other host was like, "Fat." And I was like, "No, what are you talking about?" Zion is an incredible athlete. He works really freaking hard. He's trying to come back from all these injuries. Yeah. Like, could he be a different player if he was 25 pounds lighter or whatever it is? I don't want to make him go vegan and eat whatever. Like he's been able to have the career he's had playing it the way he's at, and he works really freaking hard. And like that, like you don't know him to be able to be calling him like that, to be talking about him like that. Like that's like disrespectful of anybody who's in the professional.
Like you learn that as you've been in the game for so long, so you learn that. Like you don't really go for like the quick things that'll make you go viral. It's like more like a long game where the players will hear what you say.
I always say to people, if I do my job the right way, I don't need to burn you.
If
I'm good at what I do, I don't need to burn you.
That's a good line. We should finish it off with that.
It's true though.
I like that. That's gonna stick with me.
If I'm a good writer,
if you do a good job, you won't need to burn anyone.
Thank you, Lamar. And thank you so much, Ramona Shelburne, for coming today. That was a really good episode, a lot of insight, and we really appreciate you making the time.
You got it.
And
I'll do anything for that guy. That guy was
Lakers in 6.
Hello, you know how we were just talking about you? Like, treat people the right way? Yeah. You always treated us the right way.
That's all I have.
And that's why you guys are both here right now.
Yeah.
Right.
So thank you. We'll catch you on the next episode.
Out.
Peace.